Welcome back, everyone. Today, we bring you the latest and most crucial updates on UK immigration. We'll be diving into the recent recommendations from the Migration Advisory Committee, covering a wide range of changes that could reshape the UK's immigration landscape. From the potential abolishment of the shortage occupation list to critical insights on asylum seekers' rights to work, we've got it all covered. Stay tuned as we break down these crucial recommendations and what they mean for the future of immigration policies in the UK. But that's not all. We'll also explore the committee's rationale behind these suggestions and the potential impact on various industries. It's a hot topic that's been making waves, and we've got the inside scoop. So, if you're curious about how these changes could affect you or your business, or if you just want to stay informed about the latest in immigration policy, this video is for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. Alright, let's get started. We've got a lot to cover, so sit back, relax, and get ready to uncover the future of immigration in the UK. Background to the UK immigration. As the UK election draws near, the ruling Conservative Party, which has consistently lagged behind the opposition Labour Party in opinion polls, is making immigration a central policy focus. It's important to note that immigration has long been a contentious topic in the UK's political discussions, particularly within the Conservative Party. While there is extensive debate about the advantages and disadvantages of people entering and leaving the country, the concrete figures have consistently served as a crucial yardstick for many Conservative Party members in evaluating their leaders' performance on this issue. We also recently discussed the determination of certain Tory members of Parliament to reduce immigration numbers during the just-concluded party conference. Net migration reached a historic high after Brexit, and according to Robert Jenrick, the immigration minister, this happened because the UK introduced a more permissive immigration system compared to its EU membership days. He suggested that some decisions made when ending free movement from the EU were naive. Mr. Jenrick didn't directly name Boris Johnson's administration, but his comments seemed to be directed at him. In 2022, net migration to the UK reached an all-time peak at 606,000. While addressing an event at the Conservative conference, Mr. Jenrick stated that they had made a mistake immediately after leaving the EU. He explained that they had implemented an immigration system that was, if anything, even more open than what they had during their EU membership. He further mentioned that the government had underestimated the potential impact on immigration numbers. However, the UK immigration minister stated that the government is now taking measures, like limiting the rights of some foreign students to bring in family members, to reduce these numbers. This, in turn, will help the government achieve its objectives set in motion by Brexit. What is the Migration Advisory Committee, MAC? The Migration Advisory Committee, also known as the MAC, is an independent, non-statutory, non-time-limited, non-departmental public body responsible for advising the government on matters related to migration. It falls under the jurisdiction of the Home Office. The MAC's role extends across the entire UK, and it collaborates with various government bodies, offering transparent, independent, and evidence-based recommendations. While its work is primarily initiated by commissions from the Home Secretary, a significant development in 2020 was the introduction of an annual report by the MAC, indicating an expansion of the committee's analysis beyond commissioned work. All of the MAC's recommendations are rooted in what it perceives as being in the best interests of the UK resident population, recognizing that migration has varying impacts on different groups. To support its operations, the committee has a dedicated civil service secretariat comprised of approximately 20 professionals, including economists, social researchers, statisticians, and policy and communication staff. The committee was tasked with a significant review in August 2022, which has the potential to reshape UK immigration. After a brief pause, it resumed work earlier this year, leading to the release of these game-changing recommendations. The problem. The Shortage Occupation List, SOL, was a list that allowed certain jobs to be filled by overseas workers without much fuss. It saved time and effort for employers who didn't need to prove that no local workers were available. However, this system had some flaws, like allowing lower wages for these jobs, which could lead to unfair treatment of migrant workers. What does the MAC want to change? The MAC suggests that the SOL should be scrapped completely or have only a few low-wage jobs on the list, provided they really need it. This is because giving these jobs SW status can lead to problems like migrant workers being tied to a single employer, which can be bad and could cost the UK money. Jobs. As a result of these considerations, the MAC now recommends only 8 occupations for the shortage occupation list for the entire UK and an additional 2 for Scotland. This marks a significant reduction from the initial 145 eligible occupations. For the whole UK, laboratory technicians who have 3 or more years of experience, pharmaceutical technicians, bricklayers and masons in construction, roofers, roof tilers, and slaters in construction. A specific construction job title, retrofitters. Various animal care jobs, like racing grooms and stud handlers. Care workers and home carers, except for private households or individuals not running a business. Senior care workers. For Scotland only. Managers and proprietors in forestry, fishing, and related services, but specifically fishing boat masters. Boat and ship builders and repairers in manufacturing. What about some specific job requests? MAC considered some special job requests. For example, they suggest changing the category for sommeliers, wine experts, to make it easier for them to work in the UK. But they warned not to use this change for waiters and waitresses. They also said no to allowing ceiling fixers because there wasn't enough info about the training needed for that job. Looking ahead, the MAC has made several recommendations. The central recommendation of the MAC is to eliminate the practice of paying salaries below the going rate for jobs, regardless of whether they are on the shortage occupation list. Currently, employers can pay migrant workers 80% of the going rate or a minimum salary threshold. The MAC argues that this practice undermines the benefits of being on the list. The committee also recommends changing the rules for creative worker visas, making it easier for employers to bring in workers from abroad but with a set minimum salary. MAC also made suggestions for what the government should do in the future, like: if the government doesn't want employers to pay less than a certain salary, they should either change or get rid of the SOL. If they keep the SOL, they should rename it to something like Immigration Salary Discount List. They shouldn't review certain low-level jobs in the SOL unless the government says so. The government should switch to a new job category system and update salary rules in the future. If they don't do this by January 2024, the SOL reviews should be paused until they do. Furthermore, MAC argued that many employers are unaware that they have unrestricted access to overseas labor, provided they meet the minimum salary requirement. This potentially makes the shortage occupation list redundant. The committee initially discouraged submissions for higher-paid roles, but received some submissions advocating for the visa fee reduction available for roles on the list. They also addressed regional variations in the going rate, highlighting devolved nation-specific shortage occupation lists. Asylum seekers. The MAC also questions the application of the shortage occupation list to asylum seekers who have been granted permission to work. They recommend that if people have permission to work while awaiting an asylum decision, they should be allowed to work in any job, not just those on the shortage occupation list. Social care workers. The social care sector is recommended to stay on the SOL. This decision is partly due to concerns about exploitation in the sector, and the MAC promises to address these issues further in their upcoming 2023 annual report. We recall that between June 2022 and June 2023, the Home Office approved 60,000 visas for care workers and an additional 18,000 for senior care workers. Typically, each health and care worker on a special visa also brings one family member with them. In total, social care roles made up 65% of all health and care visas issued. These visas cover various healthcare jobs, including doctors, nurses, and more. Notably, over one-third, 37%, of all long-term work visas granted during this time period were for individuals working as carers. In summary, the full list of recommendations includes changes to the shortage occupation list's discount, expanded work options for asylum seekers, and adjustments to sponsorship rules for the creative worker visa route, among other suggestions. These recommendations are poised to bring substantial changes to the UK's immigration policies. If the government doesn't accept the recommendation to abolish the shortage occupation list, the committee plans to conduct a minor review next year, subject to certain conditions. What happens next? It will be intriguing to observe the government's response to these recommendations. The government will look at these suggestions and decide which ones to put into action. These changes could mean higher costs for employers, especially if the SOL is abolished, or it might lead to changes in how certain jobs are treated in the immigration system. The interesting part is the possibility of asylum seekers working in any role, which seems unlikely, but a more feasible option could be restricting them to jobs eligible for the skilled worker route. However, there's a risk that if the shortage occupation list is removed without a suitable replacement, individuals may face limitations in their ability to work while awaiting asylum decisions, which is already quite limited. We'll have to wait and see how the government responds. These changes could happen in the spring of 2024 because of the election. Before we wrap up, it's important to keep in mind that immigration laws and procedures are subject to change, and the visa application process can be complex. Therefore, staying informed with the latest updates from the UK Home Office and the UK immigration website at gov.uk is essential. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more valuable content on immigration, visas, and general travel subjects. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you stay updated and never miss any of our updates.